Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, what I want to do is discuss using email professionally. Now, after many years of hosting people's websites, one of the common things that I see people doing time after time is using their Gmail account or their Yahoo account for their professional email. And this is a big no-no. You don't want to do that. You've paid for a domain name and you've paid for hosting a website. Your hosting should include the ability to actually create an email address on that domain name. And in this video, I'm going to show you just how easy that is to do. And I'm also going to discuss a few other options for your email, if hosting your email on your own server is not an option, whether it be for space or deliverability concerns. We'll get into that stuff. So let's take a look at how to set up an email on your own domain name using cPanel. Okay, so here we are in cPanel. We've logged in, and you'll notice that we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we can fiddle and tamper with, and the area that we're going to be looking at today is the one called email accounts. So I'm going to click on that, and after a few seconds of waiting for the server to respond, we are now in the screen that we need to use to create a new email account. So to create a new email account, a simple case, click on Create. And the domain name is already there. If you had multiple domain names on your hosting account, or if you were using a subdomain, you would simply click on that and you would be able to select from any hosting or any other domain name that you may have on the same hosting account. Now, for my clients, they would only see their main domain name here because we don't allow add-on domain names. And to create the username or to create the actual email address, all you have to do is simply type it in here. So I'll create dallas@simplestores.co.za, and I can set a password. So, or I can have the system send a system-generated password to an email address. For now, I will just put in a simple password here. And I am going to use something that I use regularly. Okay, so my password is all right. It meets the requirements of 65. And all I have to do now is click on Create. The system then goes and creates the account, and there it is. So what I can do now is I can actually go and check my email on that email address, or I can manage that email, or I can connect devices. So to connect a device, basically what that means is we want to be able to, say, receive our email on our phone or on our iPad or on a desktop computer. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the settings or find out those settings that we need to put into those applications so that we can use that email address on those specific devices. All right, so getting back to the screen here, when you click on Connect Devices, you'll see that there's this window here, and this window contains the information that you need to be able to set that email up on your phone or whatever device you want to use it on. So the username is the email address, the password is whatever you set it to, and the incoming server settings would be mail. And then yours would obviously be your own domain name. IMAP and POP3 are the two different ways of setting up your email, and I'll get into that in just a second. Then under the outgoing email address or the outgoing server settings, you would use this here. Or if you are using a third-party SMTP service, you would put that information in there. But let's for now talk about the differences between IMAP and POP and what that basically boils down to. So IMAP is an email protocol that allows you to store the mail on the server and access that mail from multiple devices. So for instance, if you have the email address set up on your phone and on your iPad and on your computer, you want to be able to access that email and have it all synchronized together using that same email address. And that's very easy to do. All you would do is you would copy the information and use it, set it up as an IMAP, and you would use the IMAP port. Now, a pop email is slightly different in that what it does is it's a point of presence. So when you set up an email address as a pop, you're basically setting it up on one device, and that device will download the information or download the messages from the server. It will also clear the server if you've instructed the program to do that, and you'd have that email contained on that device. The upside of doing it this way is that you're only limited by the amount of storage you have on your device. So you can store years and years of email without ever running out of disk space. Whereas with IMAP, you've only got the amount of disk space that is available to you on your hosting plan. So for instance, if you've only bought a gigabyte of hosting space, you would only be able to store a gigabyte of email. But just bear in mind that you also need part of that gig to store your website and all the files that are contained on that. So IMAP is a good solution for multiple devices, but it can also become a little bit of a head scratcher if you need to store a lot of email over a long period of time. Just to give you an example, I have a Gmail account that I've been using since the mid-2000s, and I have probably about 15 gigabytes worth of email on that stored on that Gmail account. So over the years, you can actually store up quite a lot of disk space, or you can use up quite a lot of disk space by running on an IMAP account. So what are the other options then if you want to use IMAP and you want to synchronize? And we'll get into that in just a second. So it is possible to store your email using a third-party IMAP service, and there are many different ones that you can choose from. Some of the more popular ones I'll get into in this video. One or two of them I have no experience with, so I'm just going to gloss over those, but the other two I do have some experience with, so I'll get into a little bit more detail with those. So the first two that I will look at here, let's just go back to the main screen here. Microsoft Office 365. So Microsoft Office is a subscription-based service, and as you can see, they have a few different options that you can go for here. The cheapest one being the 77 Rand and 10 cents per user per month option, which works out to around about 100 Rand a month after you've added VAT onto it. And I did try and set this up once before, but it was really very, very technically challenging. There was a lot of information that they wanted, a lot of red tape involved in getting this going. For some strange reason, you would think that they would want to make it easy for you to do business with them, but they don't. And this goes up to 308 Rand per user per month, but that would obviously include all these apps here. So for instance, they're including Outlook, Word, Excel, etc., etc. And for most people, running an online business or doing any kind of business, they would want to use those apps. So for instance, now if you were to go for this 192.80 per user per month, you would get these applications included in that subscription. The trouble with this, though, is that this is based on an annual price. So, for instance, they'll whack you 12 times that amount in a year. If you wanted to actually get the monthly price, you'd have to then make an adjustment to the screen somewhere here, and then you'd get that monthly price. So just bear that in mind. Right, the next one that we can look at would be Zoho. And this is something I came across just recently. And now Zoho is a fully featured CMS and cloud storage solution, as well as offering the same sort of packages that you would get with Microsoft, spreadsheeting and word processing and all that sort of stuff. It's all stored in the cloud, and you pay a subscription fee to access those services every month. So they start at 15 Rand a month per user, billed annually, as you can see so here. And you've got an option of 5 gigs or 10 gigs. And if you get the 10 gig mailbyte or mail storage, that's going to cost you 18 Rand 75 per month. And you'll also get a few other things involved here as well. So you could have a look through that. The more popular one, according to their website, is the Mail Premium, which will cost you 60 Rand a month and gives you 50 gigs per user. And again, you've got the same thing. Now, I have no experience running with this company. This was just one of the options I came across when I was doing some research for this video. So go check it out if you're interested. The ones that I do have experience with are the Google ones. So I use Google Workspace. It used to be called something else, but they keep changing the names. I think for now it's called Google Workspace. And I have opted for this $12 a month option here. So that gives me 2 terabytes of cloud storage, which I find very useful for delivering photographs to my clients. And I get to use the Google Meet video meeting software, which is also stored in the cloud. And I can also host all my emails over there as well. So there doesn't seem to be any limit to the amount of emails apart from that 2 terabytes that I have there. What's nice about Google is that you can also create aliases. So for example, once I've set up my first email account with them, I can add different domains in there. So if I had, for instance, in my case, I have dallastimes.net, which is this email, that domain name you see in the corner there. I have that, I have the .com, and I have various other ones all linked into the same Google Mail account. And it's one email account, but with several aliases. So I can set that up in Google and it works really well. The downside, as you can see, is that I'm paying $12 US per month for this service. And that works out at about 200 Rand per month for however many emails you have. So for instance, in your business, if there are 5 of you, you'll be paying 1,000 Rand a month for the email service, which can become a little bit expensive for a small business. I would not recommend doing that. So yeah, if you're looking for something professional, that's one of the ways of doing it. Setting up the Gmail using your own domain name can be a little bit technically challenging, but I can help you with that if you do need help with that. You can buy some support from me, because don't try and get support from Google. They are not that interested in helping you. Right, Zoho Mail we've looked at, and then my own one that I actually have begun reselling for is the OpenXchange app suite. And this is very much the same sort of thing as Microsoft Office 365 and the Google Workspace and the Zoho Workspace, or the Zoho email service that I just discussed. Basically, this is a private cloud-based system as well, and I offer 2 different options. I have the option that will cost you 40 Rand a month per user, and there's another option of 60 Rand a month. The 60 Rand a month one, you may have seen me using it in previous videos. It works very well. It gives you 50 gigs of storage, including mail cloud storage, 25 gigs of that, and mailbox sizes, 25 gigs. And you get a lot of other stuff as well, such as spreadsheets and word processor. All those cloud-based apps are also available to you on this. The slightly cheaper one here at 40 Rand a month will offer you a mailbox of 10 gigabytes, and you'll still also get a few other options in there as well. So that's a service that I've been offering to my clients, and you can buy this per month or you can buy it per annum. I think I've got another, you can either have a quarterly or half yearly payment plan. So you would, if you wanted to order this, you'd go in there and put in your own domain. Let's just put something in here that looks owndomain.com, and it'll validate that. And if you can go through to the checkout now, you will see that you have the option of changing this. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to have, there we go. You have the option of changing it to the quarterly, 6 monthly, or annually. So if you wanted to buy it for on an annual basis, you'd pay 600 Rand for the year, so you're basically getting 2 months for free. And I think it's actually worth it. You know, for 600 Rand, you're getting very large email box. You're getting cloud storage. You're getting cloud apps that will allow you to open and save your own documents in Microsoft format so that everybody can read them. And yeah, I think it's a good option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video for you to go through and purchase that service if you need it. If you have any questions at all about anything that I've discussed in this video, you know where to drop them. You can also email me. I'll put a link to my email address in the description also. And until I see you again, adios.